Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review. And uh, well, which I will still say I will continue with the Steven Seagal movie marathon. But there's a couple other movies I wanted to get out of the way first. Which of course, with this film, which I know I'll probably get hate for it, but thing is though. And I know my brother's gonna hate me for this because he's told me before that this film's a bad movie, like a lot of people say it is though. But when it comes to him, like I said, we both just butt heads a lot on what films are, because once again he thinks I'm full of shit, because especially with this film, this movie's bad, blah 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 blah. I never saw this one was a bad film, okay? Because I think first of all, it was really it's really a creative movie. Yes, it's not like the video game like what back then, I know. But the thing is that with a film like this, it's hard to do a live action video game to live action adaptation of this game accurately, right? But anyway, But I wanted to review this film for quite a long time though, and what better way to do it? Because since this came out in 1993 and 2023, so 30 years, which also the same year of Jurassic Park, which I won't get to though, because I want to do a 30th anniversary review of Jurassic Park though. But that'll be I did not forget though. But as of right now, but yeah, for 30 years, yes, 30 years later, and 30th anniversary of this film of the Super Mario Brothers movie. Yes, and plus, and what if people are gonna ask? Yes, I did see the new anime film that came out. I did like it. Yes, I did. But it's not one of my favorite movies of this year. I did like the movie. Yes, I did though. But the thing is, it was easy because the difference between this and the anime movie is it's easier to do to make it like a video game, right? Because when it's an anime movie, but when you do attempt to do a live action version like this, it's much harder to do. To be try to be very accurate. Because, okay, with the Mario games, right? Like back then, right? Like going from place to place, teleporting to different worlds, and all these little gizmos and things you find. You get to these little powers, right? I mean, you think we try to put all of that into a movie? It kind of will look silly. Like, what did Mario do? Did he it was a flower or something where he grows? He eats a mushroom and he grows big, and then something like that, right? I mean, it would kind of look silly nowadays, but doing all those different adaptations and different worlds and stuff, though. But the thing is, I was pretty fine with what they did with this movie. Like I said, I know I'll probably get a lot of hate for it, and I know my brother, he thinks I'm full of crap for liking this movie, okay? He says because he says he doesn't get me sometimes. Well, a lot of times he doesn't get me. I mean, hell, just recently, off topic though, he says that I was full of shit for liking the '89 Punisher film with Dolph Lundgren, okay? He calls that a god-awful movie because one of the things, he doesn't have the freaking skull. That's what he keeps on complaining about. I'm like, let that freaking go, okay? Dolph Lundgren does as a Punisher, he does what he does. He punishes the criminals, all the stuff. He kills all the criminals. That's what the Punisher does. Yeah, who gives a damn about who does have the freaking skull or not? Jeez. But no, once again, I'm full of shit, I mean, hell, people complained for years that during the X-Men movies, with Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, he didn't have the brown yellow costume like it was from the comics or the game, and I mean, people don't you hear people complain about that? No, he's just like, that's what I mean, Besides, I love the '89 Punisher film with Dolph Lundgren, okay? Whether he has the skull or not, that he does what the Punisher does. He punishes the criminals. Like with Louis Gossett Jr., he tells him, what do you call of over 100 something kills over the past 5 years? Work in progress. I know that was off topic though, but once again, this just goes, my brother thinks I'm full of shit. Same with this movie. I liked it for what it was. Okay, like I said, I thought it was kind of creative what they did, especially when they go into the different world of called Dinohattan. I thought it was kind of creative, and which I'll get into all that though. But the cast, okay, Bob Hoskins, which I enjoy Bob Hoskins as one of my favorite British actors. Yes, you know, Eddie Fallon from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I enjoyed him in Unleashed with Jet Li. I like Bob Hoskins. Rest in peace, Bob Hoskins. Even though he hated working on this movie, he had a hellish time working on the making of the movie. I know he hated, even though like his son was a fan of the game. Like he didn't know what movie he was making until his son showed him, oh, you're making Super Mario Brothers. You're playing Mario. Great. I mean, I'm sure he did this because his son was a fan of the game, so probably did that because being the good father he was. But even though despite he hates the movie, I'm sorry, I still think Bob Hoskins did a good job as Mario. John Leguizamo as Luigi. I still think he did a good job as well. I thought he was pretty fun in the role too. Whether he hates working at the same thing, I think he changed his opinion how he felt about this film like years afterwards. I think. But whether he likes it or not, though, I think that John Leguizamo was good as Luigi. Dennis Hopper as Koopa. Yes, another actor that I've loved and enjoyed throughout the years. Even though even he says he hated working on this movie too. He hated the movie too. But I thought he was having fun as the role. I mean, even serious actors have to play some type of wacky character at one point of their movie. I mean, look at Robert De Niro in the Rocky and Bullwinkle movie. As the fearless leader. Are you talking to me? I'm the only one here, so you must be talking to me. I mean, even Robert De Niro looked like he was having fun as playing a wacky role like that. I mean, I thought Dennis Hopper did a good job as King Koopa. Rest in peace, Dennis Hopper. I thought he was having fun in the role. Okay, I don't think it's not as bad as people make it out to be. I'm sure a lot of people disagree with that though. But hey, to each their own. It's all subjective. You also have Samantha Manthis, who later starred Broken Arrow with Christian Slater and John Travolta. You have Fisher Stevens, who remember he was where he was playing an Indian character in Short Circuit 1 and 2. And he also have his side partner played by Richard Edson, which I know I've seen in a couple other movies as well. The music, hey, if anyone who's a fan of the Avengers score from the first Avengers from 2012, and then Infinity War and Endgame, the music is done by Alan Silvestri, who also worked on many other scores, like from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, also with Bob Hoskins, Volcano, among many other movies, including the Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame scores. So, if anyone was a fan of those scores from Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame, hey, Alan Silvestri did the score for this movie, and I like the score, like the little simple, friendly music that's going, especially for the Mario Brothers, do 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 do. I did a terrible job though, but still, if you listen to the score of this movie, you'll see. And I know they want to make it more of a kids movie instead of more of a darker adult film though. Which I think that's one of the things that John Leguizamo was complaining about, that it wanted to be more of an adult movie more than a kids movie. I mean, there's still elements of more dark, like adult stuff that's in this movie. It's still friendly enough for kids to watch, I would say. And one thing I would say, one of the big positives I like about this movie, that not only did I like the actors did a good job though, but not only I like the score as well, but what I said about creativity, the production set and designs, especially when they get transported to the other world of Dinohattan, just like this whole world, right? Kind of reminds me of like a futuristic, like a future like Blade Runner. Maybe a dumb reference, but also kind of it's like a mixture of Blade Runner and like with Mad Max, because I think one thing is which I'll get into later on trivia and stuff like that stuff, right? Because there was like the behind the scenes pre-production, there was like so many several scripts for this movie and which direction they wanted to take it. And what I mentioned about Mad Max, because there was like they try to make it like a little Mad Max, which that makes sense because you see, look at the vehicles that it's when in this world, kind of looks like reminds me of Mad Max. I think that was kind of like the little inspiration for that, but I like this whole world. I mean, a lot of it was actually a practical design and set, and I mean a lot of like practical effects and set pieces, just like actually real fires, and there's a whole lot of sparks in this. I mean, you can get burned from sparks too, right? I mean, there was a lot of practical effects and set designs and set pieces, and I thought it was really creative. Yes, I know it's not like the game. I know that though, but still, I thought I'd give props for trying to create something different. And just if you can't make it like the Mushroom World or whatever, right? But I think I give props for trying to make them like yes, and you probably say yes. It would be a lot easier if everything was CGI nowadays. But here's the thing. To me, we're actually taking time to build this world, build this set to create this world. It takes effort, If you want to try to go do this creative ideas, go for it, Yeah, it's gonna take a little time though. But if you just CGI everything, to me that's just called laziness. That's just cutting corners, Because it's just being lazy, because you just want to be lazy, not to try to take the time and effort to create and design and paint or whatever to make these sets. I think that's why I give props to, because of how they create this world. They took time and effort to make this whole sets, and the look of the cars and all these all the fungus and everything. That's why why I give big props to this movie. They took risks, trying to, all handling the production set, Yes, it would be CGI nowadays. To me, that would be it would just look cheaper and lazy. That's what it is. That's what problem I have with CGI nowadays when they do production sets. I think it's much easier to do it behind a green screen instead of actually physical sets. When you're standing in a physical set. To me, that just screams laziness. Here, they didn't put. There was no laziness. They put in this movie. They took a lot of time and effort to put into it, and I can see the budget on the screen. Yes, it cost a little bit below $50 million though, but I can see the budget they put into on the screen. So that's one that I think. Yeah, I would probably say I would agree with what it says on the back here by a 60-second preview. Eye-popping special effects. I would agree with that. But anyway, yeah, that's one that I get a big positive I give to this movie. And yeah, you do get the little references from the video games, like with the bomb, right, or the bullet bill, right? You get those little references from the game. You do. Like, even Yoshi, Yoshi, he's a dinosaur, look a little miniature T-Rex. Good animatronic puppets, practical effect. I really enjoyed that as well. Even for Yoshi, yes. Even the Goombas, yes, which the Goombas in the game, they're like these little. Because I played the only game I played was Super Mario 64 from the Nintendo, right? Nintendo 64, the Super Mario game, right? Like the little Goombas, like those little. I would say, wait. I said they look like little turds to me. I'm sorry, that's what they look like to me. That's what those little Goombas, you can just jump and squish them flat, just. They look like. I'm sorry. That's what they look like. They look like little turds to me. I'm sorry. Even from when I played a lot of times of the Super Mario 64, I guess that's what they look to me. They just like little turds with little teeth on them. But the Goombas here, they're like the like dinosaur soldiers, like even with the little heads. Even with the little heads, there's like a different look to them. Like one's a round head, right, and even there's one that's like a little flat, skinny head, right. And a lot of it was, like a lot of extras playing these Goombas, a lot of time, and practical makeup effects and stuff. Even like little you see like when they first enter, they see some citizens with some distinctive features, like kind of like dinosaurs, right? Good makeup effects, really do. But anyway, yeah, that's one of the positives I think, and it's easily fast paced. This film is on for like about how long? It's 104 minutes, but I think it's a very well paced movie as well. Because I think it's like within like 20 or so minutes, that's when they enter the world of Dinohattan. But anyway, getting into the story. I mean, okay, and the one complaint I do. If I were to take a nitpick, I would say is we didn't need this animated opening. I mean, the animated opening shows about how the dinosaurs, where the meteor struck, right, but it ends up becoming a different world, right. I think it explained it enough in the movie. I think we didn't need this narrative animated opening. And actually, the narrator. Speaking of with the narrator, it's actually Dan Castellania, pronounce his last name. Homer Simpson, the voice of Homer Simpson, as the narrator, explaining about this whole thing about the dinosaurs, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, if you bring in Homer Simpson to the narrator. But I don't think you didn't need the animated opening. I would say that, though. And so then this woman delivers this egg to the church, which actually looks like a dinosaur egg, but it's actually a human baby inside. And then dinosaur pops up, then the whole tunnel collapses. Then it cuts to the few years later. We have Mario and Luigi, Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo. They're plumbers, yes. They're still plumbers, yes. And like I said, I thought they both did a good job. I thought they had the chemistry they had with each other. I thought was pretty good. Looked like they were brothers. Even though yes, they bring up in the dinner while they were having dinner with Samantha Manthis and Bob Hoskins. Mario has a girlfriend too. Like how Luigi was brought up, like how he raised him, been more like a father to him, right? Yeah, that's just one thing. People complain about that. Yes, I know. Even my brother mentions that part where, he was raised by him, so they're not brothers at all. Yes, I get it. Okay, jeez. But I do bought them as brothers. Okay, whether they explain that or not. Okay, I bought them. They were kind of like brothers. Yes, to me, that's why I thought they worked well together. Whether that little explanation or not, though, yes, I do still bought them as brothers. Still, okay. Just my brother just sometimes he needs to tone it down a bit. That I'm just saying that I'm just always full of crap all the time. You. Sorry, well, I'm sorry, dude. I'm just saying. I'm sorry that how we're just always at each other. How he just disagrees pretty much everything. Because I like this movie. I like this movie. I like Punisher. I like the Punisher from '89. I'm full of crap. This is yada yada yada. I'm just biased. Whatever. This is what I mean. But anyways, they're still plumbers. They get a job. Apparently, I guess with Bob Hoskins, they broke one of his fingers and had to paint it pink to make it still look like his hand, part of his hand. I know that Bob Hoskins did not like making this movie. I know that, but just to me, rest in peace, Bob Hoskins. I still think you still did a good job playing Mario. I couldn't think of another actor. I mean, I think they wanted Danny DeVito to play him. I think Bob Hoskins was better suited. Because Bob Hoskins, this type of movie, I mean, he did Who Framed Roger Rabbit, him interacting with cartoon characters. Maybe that was the reason. I think Bob Hoskins was better suited as Mario. And I'm sure somebody's gonna ask me, which one's better, this or the new animated movie? I like the animated movie. To me, it was like a big product placement movie. I mean, that's basically what it was. It was basically one big product video game placement movie. Yeah, of course it's a video game. That's the point. I'm just saying though. Which one do I pick? Even my brother will think I'm full of shit for liking this better than the anime movie. Of course, he'll still say, I know he hasn't seen the animated movie. I know he hasn't though, but he'll probably still say that's better than this. I know that. Probably because I still maybe I still prefer this though because his time and effort they took to making this movie. That's why the creativity, because that's the thing. How with films, that's another thing with problems with films nowadays. They lack creativity, originality. You know, that's the problem that they have with films nowadays. A lot of the films are just like the same old thing. It's the same old thing. Even with a lot of the MCU movies, yes. Even though I like a lot of the MCU movies, but they keep on. It looks like they keep on following the same formula though. Even though there's just why people are not seeing much of the superhero fatigue. I'm trying to say superhero fatigue. Why some of these recent superhero movies are keep on underperforming, because I think people are just getting tired of superhero movies. You know, with Ant-Man 3, Shazam 2, right? Yeah, to me, this film was. I thought it was a. To me, was creativeness. I think that's what's lacking nowadays. Because a lot of times films are just lazy. Everything has to be CGI nowadays, green screen. You know, instead of taking time and effort. Because making a movie is not that easy at all. Where you still use green screen or whatever. You know, it's not easy either way. But you put a little time and effort to making stuff like this, instead of just cheaping it, but with CGI nowadays. But anyway, and then we have Samantha Manthis, and they first meet with Luigi and Mario, and the little things, you know, like with Mario trying to be like the big brother, asking Luigi, whispering dinner, take her to dinner, right? Dinner, and you know, let's just we'll discuss it over there. You could press her with your manners. And then Luigi's like, yeah, well, why did you tell her that I suck my thumb, huh? I got a chuckle out of that when how John Leguizamo said that. And so they're having dinner, I guess, and they bring up the whole thing how Mario found Luigi. Yes, he was more of a father figure, but I still bomb as brothers no matter what. Oh, John Leguizamo's not Italian. So a lot of actors play Peter. Okay, for example, Peter Sellers. He plays a Chinese detective in Murder by Death. He's not Chinese. He plays a German in Stanley Kubrick's Doctor Strangelove. Okay. A lot of actors play different nationality type of person, right? So why? I still bought. I can buy like this. Whether it's John Leguizamo he's not Italian or not, whatever, okay? But so I still bought him as Luigi. And so then we have the two characters, Iggy and Spike. They keep on getting the wrong woman because they think which one is the princess, right? But they snatch up Bob Hoskins' girlfriend, but it's the wrong person. They're just like, how many is that? Was it 0 out of 10? That's not good. and so like when Daisy is Samantha Manthis' name, Daisy, taking Luigi to see the fossil, right? Some couple guys they sabotage because there's a rival by the name of Scapelli. They sabotage the fossil dig, so they get Bob Hoskins trying to fix the leak, showing how his experience as a plumber. And then that's when Spike and Iggy they take Daisy, this time the real princess, and here you get some of the effects. Actually, I thought from 1993, I didn't think it looked that bad. Where they're at this little narrow crescent, right, where there's a deep river down below, right. But they see at the other side of the wall, it's like moving, right. And I bought like how they react to how that thing is how the They see Samantha Manthis' face, and she pops out, and they grab the piece of the meteorite, and then it's like, did you see that? Yeah. And then Mario's like, that's solid rock. And then just like John Leguizamo, he goes and says that Like, well, here he knows that he has no choice, but whether he think it's real or not, though, he goes and jumps in, he disappears into it, and then Mario he falls into it, and how the way he's being transported. 1993 is not that bad looking. How the way he's being transported down into the other world. I don't think it was not that bad of a fact though. And then that's when we get to when they get into the Dinohattan, and like I said, the way the production, the production sets, all the details, like with all the fungus and like all the cars, all the sparks are flying around, and I really enjoy the time and effort they put into making this world. You know, I mean, like I said, I guarantee you it'll be entirely green screen CGI. I guarantee you. Which to me, that's just freaking lazy. Okay, here at least I see that the budget of this is, I see it on the screen, and it's a physical set, like actual physical set. You're there, not just standing in front of a green screen. And like a lot of like some citizens, they have some different like dino features. I mean, one, you know, I could see that it's decent makeup effects. Then they lose the meteor piece, and this old woman screaming, "Hey, give me some Koopa coins! Give me some Koopa coins!" Right? Which that's no reference in the game. You get the Koopa coins. You don't see them in the movie though, but it's a reference. Oh, Koopa coins. And then we introduced with Dennis Hopper as King Koopa, which I thought he was having fun in the role. Rest in peace, Dennis Hopper. I thought he was having fun in the role. Whether he dislikes this film, working on this film, yes, he does. Okay, I thought he did a good job as Koopa. So then that's when Mario and Luigi they meet with Toad. Yeah, that's another game character, Toad, which I thought Toad was a useless character. I mean, maybe he did something I don't remember, but Toad was as useless as I saw it while playing in the Super Mario 64. All you used to stand there, you talking to some advice, but other games, like to me, I never cared for Toad anyway. I never cared for Toad. But the three gets arrested, and and I like how the way the police station is, like I said, production set, and like how they're being prepared to be defungused, and then when they're trying to get their mugshots, where they think they're like, which these things they do look like guns. They look like thought they're going to get shot up. Actually, they're just to get their mugshot taken. And I like how they're like their reactions like, oh no, and but it's like which they do look like guns though, but they're just getting their mugshot taken. And Bob Hoskins like, are we dead? And even when they first enter the police station, what cop at the desk saying, "What's your name?" Mario. Last name Mario. Which when people are like, oh, because we don't know Mario's last name. It's just Mario. So I thought it was kind of funny how his name is also first name is also last name. Mario. Last name Mario. And you Luigi. Luigi? No, Luigi Mario. Okay, how many Marios are there between the two of you? There's three. There's Mario, and Luigi Mario. And the cop, and the cop when they're in the cage cells, the cop shouts them Mario Brothers. Yeah, and that's when they meet with Dennis Hopper and ask him where the meteorite is, and then they go to the Devo chamber, where they turn Toad into one of the Goombas, which I like. I like the look. It's like the electric chair, but it's a Devo chamber. They de-evolve into a Goomba, right? So they de-evolves Toad into a Goomba, and his lines like when Toad's like, "And Koopa, you're a lousy leader." It's more I can say the same thing for a certain person right now who's a lousy leader. Yeah, if you get what I mean, fuck him. I'm not getting into it though, but that was pretty obvious though. I said, yeah, he is a lousy leader, but I'm not. That's completely different now. But I thought it was funny when he says that, you know, and then he gets de-evolved, and I know with Dennis Hopper, because he says, oh, is he evolved from? You know, Tyrannosaurus Rex. And I like how the way he's using his hands to make little arms like a T-Rex. I like those little gestures there where he's just like this, make it like a T-Rex. You know, it's like, what single cell organism did you evolve from? Tyrannosaurus Rex, the Lizard King. Thank you very much. Goomba, the smart, was bio-lethal and stupid. And then when they free themselves, they push Koopa into the Devo chair, and he gets kind of de-evolved. You see like the little change in the eye, and then you see this pile of slime on the floor, which you think where did that come from, right? Well, because probably this was probably cut because there was a VHS tape that contained like 15 more minutes of extended scenes from the movie though. That was not in the cut of the movie, and apparently, I guess a tech guy was turned into a pile of slime, you know. So that's another reason why all of a sudden you see some green slime on the floor, which that was not there before, right? Yeah, because like I said, behind the scenes production of this movie, you know, it was kind of chaotic though. But on a VHS tape, there was a extended of 15 minutes of scenes. That's not in this movie though. So if you're wondering why there is also you see a pile of green slime on the floor, because there was a tech guy that was turned into slime. That's why you see all that was on the floor, which that was not there before, right? And so then you see some decent stonework, and you see there like Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo. They're sliding this thing from one place to another. It looks like they're doing the stunt themselves, and you see looks at a lot of actual practical stuff. Like I like how the soldiers or police officers, whatever, they're using like these guns. He shoots out fireballs, actual real fireballs shooting out, not CG, not CG fireballs, actual fireballs. Which I like the look of the guns. Like they just shoot fireballs at them. I like that. I like a lot of practical stuff that's been brought to the table. And then like with the cars, like the police, they get a police car, and like just the cars like you see in the city where the police cars are the other cars, right? It does look like something you see in a Mad Max movie. And there's actually like a lot of sparks and like little stuff that's put on the cars and stuff. Like I like the touches on it. It kind of does look like a Mad Max vehicle. So like I said, the production sets are like even not only for the buildings and funguses whatever, but on the vehicles and other stuff too, right? That's why I said I'd like to appreciate the effort they put into this. Creativity, I would say. But I'm sorry to say, I keep on being a dead horse, but that's what films nowadays, they lack, you know, creativity. And so, and then, and like I said, the score by Alan Silvestri, I enjoyed. You know, it's like do and then I do like the chase scene in this, and they end up in a tunnel which the fungus saves them. And then one thing leading to another, where Samantha Mathis' Daisy brought to King Koopa, where she sees Yoshi, which is a good animatronic puppet effects of Yoshi. And then of the Iggy and Spike, they eventually help Mario and Luigi. They go to this nightclub. We hear the song "Open the door, get on the floor, everyone walk with dinosaur." So you have the song "Walk with Dinosaur." Then also you have even the songs, even the sound. Not only the score by Alan Silvestri, but the soundtrack they put in this movie. I did like, you know, yeah, the little score by the song by "Walk with Dinosaur," right, and even by the end of the movie, there was that one. At the end of the movie, during the credits, you have the soundtrack. Almost Unreal, almost Unreal, which it kind of seemed out of place because it said it mentioned Hocus Pocus, which I think they were supposed to use that song in that movie Hocus Pocus, which makes more sense though, which also came out this year, in 1993. But yeah, it may seem not fit though. But I like the song that was playing during the movie. But I'm just pointing out because it mentions Hocus Pocus. So they would think that song was meant for that movie. And then you also have Speed of Light. Speed of Light, which by Joe Satriani. Speed of Light is when the scene which was playing when Bob Hoskins and all the other girls are on the mattress sliding down this ice tunnel which they froze. And yeah, down, 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 down. I like that. I like that. You know, I like that song. It fit that piece of the song was it fit that scene though. It felt like it was part of a Mario movie for me exact. So soundtrack, not only the score by Alan Silvestri, but the soundtrack, some of the songs they used in this movie I liked. But anyway, back to the nightclub. They're at the nightclub. They try to escape this woman with the help of this woman, Big Bertha. They get these boots, which I do like the look of these boots. They can use to make them jump or they go to the roof, you know, but also make them go jump or fly. You could say some distances. And then they get to the place where they eventually get to one of the places where Koopa's place is at, and then they change into their costumes from kind of like from the game, which I do like I do like the costumes they get into, which kind of resembles their plumber overalls. And I like how they're in the elevator and they try to be sneaky and making all these Goombas dance with each other, and you have this one part where I thought a funny part where, which was kind of Luigi was very lucky, I would say, where he tries to jump across to one part of this I forget what it is though, and he thinks he's always flying, right, and and they tell him Mario, you should try it, right. But he tells him to wait because his belt got caught on a hook. I'm like, how lucky was Luigi that way he tries to jump and his belt got caught on the hook, right? But he's like, wait, Mario, don't do it. And then what made it fun for me is that when Bob Hoskins tries to do it, he goes and falls down. And he's screaming, ah! I don't know. Just when he was falling and the way he was screaming, that just made me laugh. I mean, he just tries to jump and he's falling. And he's like, ah! But then the fungus saves him. The fungus makes him jump, makes it bounce like a trampoline. And that's when the fungus tries to give him the little bomb, right? And then Daisy, with Iggy and Spike, they help out to Daisy to escape, and they show her father, who was the first king, the king of this world, which Koopa turned him to all this fungus, which he does kind of look like when the father, when he's all this fungus, he does look kind of like a hate to put it, say like a ball sack, right? I mean, how the way it looks, I mean, yeah, it's supposed to be just one big huge chunk of fungus though, but I mean, come on, it does look like a ball sack to me. I mean, I don't know how else I could put it, how the way it looks, I mean. But yeah, but that's Daisy's father, who's been turned to this fungus by Koopa. And then that's when they find Mario and Luigi, they meet with her, this is their father. And so Bob Hoskins goes and rescues the other girl, his girlfriend, along with the other girls that were taken from New York. And that's when they get to they ride this big mattress, and they ride down that icy tunnel which they froze. And you get the song "Speed of Light," which I liked, and also a chase scene as well, where some other Goombas are behind them. One gets hit by some icicles, and then Bob Hoskins puts a wrench in a hole where makes the other Goombas flip over, and they see them flying through out of it, and then it's almost getting hit by almost hits Dennis Hopper, but they hit some other Goombas too. And then and even with Dennis Hopper, with some funny moments too with him, right, where he's ordering a pizza, right, and we see him ordering a pizza, but then afterwards, before when Bob Hoskins they crash down, right, and he's telling all the Goombas, tell them to prepare for destiny. He's like, "Where's my pizza?" I mean, like I said, Dennis Hopper, I know he's a serious actor. I mean, playing a wacky character like Koopa, right? I mean, he was having fun with the role. I'm sorry. I know Dennis Hopper, like, how much he hates the movie, though, but to me, he was having fun in the role. I could see he was having fun in the role. And then we see, well, like, they use, like, the booster shoes, right, to shoot one at a couple of Goombas. You see, because the cartridges they use to use for the shoes, right, you can see with the face on it, there's the bullet bill. Yeah, there's the bullet bill using as a cartridge to shoot the booster boots, at some Goombas, and then and even it knocks Koopa into this big bucket, and so Luigi gives him his Mario his belt to tell him to trust the fungus. And so then the one woman who was played by Fiona Shaw, who was like not the wife, not Dennis Hopper's wife, but just works with him. She gets the meteorite just to put the piece back in, but then she backfires and she skeletizes against the wall. Now before she receives like the Bride of Frankenstein hair. And then then you get some decent where with Mario versus Dennis Hopper, Bob Hoskins, and Dennis Hopper, and then Bob Hoskins pulls out the bomb. Everyone's so afraid of it because it's the bomb, in which you see it looks like how it was from the game, yes, and I like when it let's like it twisted, to make it go right. It starts sparking. And it doesn't get to him. It doesn't get to Dennis Hopper first, but slowly it makes its way back up to him. I like how it keeps the focus on focusing the bomb back to either Luigi or Mario, and then back to the bomb again. And then of course when a car is driving past, they sees it. And it's like the bomb steps on the brakes. And then when the piece is inside now, the worlds starts to merge together. Bob Hoskins, Dennis Hopper, and some Goombas, they transport over to the modern world, and Dennis Hopper gets one of the guns, the Devo guns, and tries to shoot Mario, but ends up de-evolving Scapelli, who's the big contractor who's trying to shut down Samantha Daisy's fossil dig, right? And so it actually shoots de-evolved Scapelli, which actually the guy who plays Scapelli, now that I think about it, he was in Alfred Justice with Steven Seagal. Where he was Steven Seagal in Alfred Justice, he was in that bar, right? And he was like saying, "Everybody's seen Richie? Anyone know why Richie did Bobby LeBeau?" One guy, yeah, he was that one guy who plays Scapelli. He was sitting there, right, and he was telling us, Seagal's like, "I work for what's his name, right? Which means you can't touch me." And Seagal's like, "That's right, I forgot." Turns around and just goes and punches him in the face. Yeah, that was the guy that he punched in that bar. It's like, "It means you can't touch me." That's right, I forgot. Psh! That was him from in Alfred Justice. I remember he was in that. As Scapelli here, he gets de-evolved into a chimpanzee. and Mario's like, "Scapelli?" And then he tries to shoot Mario again, but then Mario has a mushroom, like uses it as a shield, and then the piece gets taken out. They end up going back, and then when they get back, Luigi and Mario get the guns. They they shoot at Dennis Hopper, and you got like this starts de-evolving. You see like in his face starts becoming like this big huge smile, like a Joker type smile, and then the bomb goes underneath him, blows up, and puts him back into that bucket, and it becomes more like more of the T-Rex, right? And then Bob Hoskins like, see you later, alligator." which Dennis Hopper said before earlier when he was de-evolving Toad. He said the same thing. But yeah, this time Mario says it. See you later, alligator. They shoot him again, de-evolve him until he becomes nothing but this big puddle of slime. Like I mentioned about the slime before that was not there in the Devo room. That's what it becomes like. And now everyone's celebrating that now that he's dead, and they start like taking his image off the wall. And what I do say the one thing that doesn't make sense though, I will still say though, because Daisy's father's been turned into a fungus, right? So now that Koopa's dead, he turns back to normal. It's not like he was a magic spell or a curse or something, right? That's the one nitpick I do. That's the one nitpick I do complain is like, okay, so now that Koopa's dead, now Daisy's father, the king, is turned back into a human now. To me, that is like, okay, like how? That's like it was not like a magic spell or a curse though, right? So that's the one nitpick that didn't make sense to me. I will give it that though. But when he turns back into his human form as the king, is played by Lance Henriksen. Always nice to see Lance Henriksen in a movie. You know, I like Lance Henriksen from he was in the first Terminator. Then of course Bishop from Aliens. Of course, when he voiced Kurt Jack from Tarzan. I always like Lance Henriksen as an actor, and it was nice to see him though in that brief cameo there. So he turns back into his own self. And he's like, you know, I'm back. Love those plumbers. Always nice to see Lance Henriksen. So it was cool to see him right there in that one cameo. And so, but since Daisy can't go, this is her place now. So she has to return the story back to the way it was. So Luigi has to leave her there, and Yoshi's there. Even Toad, who's the Goomba who was Toad, even says bye. And so afterwards, sometime afterwards, like people the news knows about this. They see it on TV with a Goomba talking to a Goomba, so they know about this world. So they're getting ready to have dinner until when Daisy comes back. Then she tells them, "Hey, Luigi, Mario, we need your help." And what is it? Well, you're not gonna believe it. You sure? And Bob has to say, "I believe it." And then the title, Super Mario Brothers, and that's when we have the song playing, Almost Unreal playing, which I do like that song too. But yeah, it doesn't see it as fit in a Mario movie though, because it was more meant for a Hocus Pocus. But I like the song regardless though. I mean, they don't play songs that doesn't fit movies all the time, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, but I really enjoy the movie, and what people say I don't think it's not as bad as people make it out to be. And to me, it's not as bad. It's not as bad as a 4.1 on IMDb, and it's not as bad as a 29% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm sorry, I completely disagree with that. And I'll get back along with trivia, and stuff like that. Like before I mentioned, like there was several scripts that they consider for this movie. There was 8 scripts. Just to name a few. Like, if you want to learn more about this movie, there are some stuff you can read on trivia on IMDb though. But there's also stuff. Go to this website called the SMB Movies, especially for this movie. They have it says here this features 8 screenplays dated from the original fantasy production. Presented in these were presented in chronological order. Starting with this first script, right? They wanted to make more like a tale like Princess Bride, and later like a Shrek series. So this is the first script, like a Wizard of Oz fairy tale parodies type scripts. Brothers Mario and Luigi pursue Princess Haley into a hidden world resentment of the Wizard of Oz and Alice in Wonderland. Complete with checkered brick road, tribes of mushroom people, and King Koopa described as an anthropomorphic dragon. This screenplay led to the groundwork of how the characters were used by later writers. Mario is the older, reluctant hero, while Luigi is a young dreamer and gets the girl. As much as $10 million was spent developing the fantasy screenplay, Greg Beeman of License to Drive, which I liked with both Corys, Corey Feldman and Corey Haim, License to Drive, was attached to direct. But the failure of his 1992 film Mom and Dad Saved the World, which that wasn't that great either. Well, I like License to Drive, but Mom and Dad Saved the World was not that great. But led to his dismissal. The production was spent nearly a year researching for a replacement director. Harold Ramis was approached to direct, but he declined. Which that would have been interesting, Harold Ramis, director of who's worked with Bill Murray with Ghostbusters as Spangler, then and of course he directed Groundhog's Day, Stripes, and of course among others though. But yeah, Harold Ramis, but he declined though. Only husband and wife directing team Ricky Morton and Annabel Jankel of Max Headroom and DOA agreed to take on the project as long as they could renew development. And so then the second script was more of a traditional sci-fi fantasy pitch. So the pitch was budding writers Parker Bennett and Terry Runit. Represents the early transition of a fantasy-oriented development of the Mushroom Kingdom, Melu, to more grounded and more satirical vision of Morton and Jankel. Felt it was never funny, scary, or outlandish enough. So sought to be more of a focus more on Mario and Luigi's relationship to each other and their late father. They also looked at development into Daisy more of a proactive character and expand Koopa's plot so to be danger to both worlds. The pitch is still firmly within the fantastical, if I pronounce the word properly. Mario and Luigi are prophesized saviors. A magical talking book aids them on their quest, and Koopa resides in a traditional stone and dungeon castle. The concept of humanoid dinosaurs is essentially only to retrofit it only prior to fantasy narrative established by Parker and Jenwen. Then another thing about with Ghostbusters, want to kind of make inspiration sensibilities of Ghostbusters. Then here's another one with a Die Hard type script. Like the overall narrative structure of the previous screenplay remains intact, though the tone is not much more satirical than comedic. One attempt at humor is a cameo from Bruce Willis in the air ducts of Koopa's Tower as homage to Die Hard. That would have been funny. Bruce Willis in this film. In a film like this, yeah. Then the Mad Max, like I mentioned, a script to be like a little bit like Mad Max. Which I mentioned, it does look like a mixture. This world looks like a mixture of Mad Max / Blade Runner in a way. So yeah, there's a few more scripts. So yeah, there was several scripts for this movie. Several scripts for this movie. So. But anyway, but more on trivia. Dennis Hopper described the film's production. It was a nightmare. Very honestly, that movie. It was a husband and wife directing team who are both control freaks, and wouldn't talk before they made decisions. Anyway, I was supposed to go down there for 5 weeks. I was there for 17. It was so over budget. Yeah, because like I said, there was even with some of the scripts, like with the transition stuff like that. With other happening, it's just like they tried to cut back on budget stuff though. The Yoshi puppet, yeah, as I mentioned, good puppet animatronic effects. And then in a 2011 interview with The Guardian, Bob Hoskins described the film's production. He's like said, Dennis Hopper hated the movie, so did Bob Hoskins, saying it was the worst film he's ever done. He said, quote, "It was an effing nightmare. The whole experience was a nightmare. It was a husband and wife team directing whose arrogance had been mistaken for talent. After so many weeks, their own agent told them to get off the set. Effing nightmare. Effing idiots." Yeah, but regardless, so like I said, even though, like I said, I still think Bob Hoskins still did a good job as Mario, regardless. And then in 2007 autobiography, like John Leguizamo said that he and Bob Hoskins hated working on the film, would frequently get drunk enough to make it through the experience. Both men apparently knew the movie would turn out bad. They simply tried to make the best of it. They said they felt one of the biggest reasons why the film turned out that way because the directors wanted more of an adult movie, while the studio considered more of a kids movie. As I mentioned, and as I mentioned before, Bob Hoskins said it's the worst movie he's ever did, but his son was a fan of the game, so that's why. Just keep going. One of the cameo from Bruce Willis, like I mentioned. After the film bombed the box office, Nintendo stopped producing live-action theatrical films for their video games franchises for a while. A Metroid film was in development, but never went past pre-production. Nintendo would eventually later release an adaptation, Pokemon Detective Pikachu, to improve critical, more commercial success. Which that would make sense because since Pokemon is such a big name, a big franchise name, of course it'd be a critical and commercial success because Pokemon Detective Pikachu almost made $500 million worldwide in 2019. Almost. Actually, no wait, almost but $430 million. Sorry, because I remember, yeah, but that was a success. According to John Leguizamo, the filmmakers hired actual strippers for the nightclub scene. Tom Hanks was considered the role for Luigi, but the failures of Turner and Hooch and Joe versus the Volcano led the studio to believe that Hanks was no longer a box office draw. Yeah, well, later, that would be a mistake since Forrest Gump would be a huge hit, and the film's like Philadelphia as well at the time. As I mentioned, Danny DeVito was considered to play Mario. Schwarzenegger was turned down the role to play Koopa. And it was the first Hollywood film to be made based on a video game. And also, one of the guys that mentioned, speaking of bombing, I mean this film was made by Hollywood Pictures, which they're no longer around no more because they had a lot of films that bombed. Although they did have some big hits. Though. I mean, The Sixth Sense was a big hit. So was The Rock as well. Though that was a hit too from Hollywood Pictures. But the first one they did when they released was 1990. That was Arachnophobia, which I enjoyed though. Although, like I said, it's ironic since I hate spiders. But I actually say at the same time I enjoyed Arachnophobia. Jeff Daniels and John Goodman, But there's some some hits, but a lot of times they had big flops, I mean, this film flopped. It was like a budget of like 40-some million, made about 30-some million. And hell, right there, right behind me, one of my personal favorites, Deep Rising, that was released by Hollywood Pictures. That was a huge flop. Budget of 45, they made 11 million. But the thing is, though, they became a cult classic later on, and I love Deep Rising. Criminally underrated movie. I enjoyed Deep Rising. You can see right there. That was released from Hollywood Pictures. But yeah, but so much more trivia on this. And jeez, I'm basically an hour into this video. Jeez. But you know what? It's worth doing an hour-long review of this one because I think it deserves it. Because to me, I don't think it's not as bad people make it out to be. I think I'll put this as underrated as well, and that's probably gonna piss my brother off even more. But call it underrated. It's gonna probably piss him off even more now for me saying that. Yeah, I guarantee it would. See, he says to me, you just don't know movies, You call this is underrated. This is a bad movie. It's not underrated. But I mean, like I said, even though 3 actors, Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo, Dennis Hopper, they hated making this movie. But I'm sorry, I think they all did a very good job of playing these characters. Like Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo, I thought their chemistry, even though they say that though during that dinner scene though, but I think I bought them as brothers. I think they did a good job working together. The chemistry that they had with each other, I thought was well done. I would say. Dennis Hopper, I said rest in peace to Bob Hoskins and rest in peace to Dennis Hopper. I thought he was fun. He was having fun in the role as King Koopa. Even with the remember like the hairstyle that he had, kind of referenced in the game as well. Like I said, and I mentioned that the score by Alan Silvestri I liked, the soundtrack, the songs I liked. It's very well paced as well, and the big thing I enjoyed about it was the creativity of this world. The production design, the sets, and like I said, with the set pieces, of all this fun of the practical effects and makeup designs, with the animatronic of Yoshi, like all the fungus that's all around, the production set designs, like I said, the cars, and just how the way this world works. I could see the effects, the budget on the screen, the time and effort they put into it. Not CGI, not one big giant green screen. Okay, a lot of stuff was very pretty much. From what I could see, a lot of more than 85% was practical, whether it's the production set pieces or the design, backgrounds, whatever. The action scenes I liked, when they're in the car chase, in those Mad Max type police vehicles, or when Mario and the girls were sliding down that icy tunnel. I liked with the soundtrack, with the song "Speed of Light" playing. And I really enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. I'm sorry. A lot of people don't like this film. To me, it's not as bad as people make it out to be. Bob Hoskins, I think he did a good job as Mario. Whether he hated working on the movie though. Same with John Leguizamo. I thought he was good as Luigi. Dennis Hopper, Samantha Manthis, which I like her in Broken Arrow. I thought she was very decent in this movie as well as Daisy. Even the two boneheads, Fisher Stevens and Richard Edson, I thought they were tolerable. I thought because they're supposed to be goofy henchmen, and it was cool to see the cameo by Lance Henriksen as Daisy's father when he comes back to his human form. Cool, always nice to see Lance Henriksen. Yeah, whether the two directors, the husband and wife team, whether they think they're control freaks or not, or whatever, I thought they did good with the way they did it with the movie, And I really enjoyed it. Yeah. The whole thing you didn't need the whole animated opening with the narrator of the guy who voiced Homer Simpson. You didn't need the animated opening. I think pretty much we all got the point of it. Yeah, to me, it still didn't make sense how if the moment King Koopa died, Lance Henriksen would come back to his form. Like I say, it was not a magic spell or a curse or anything, but other than that, though, I really enjoyed Super Mario Bros. To me, it's worth over an hour-long review, because I think this deserves much more respect than it did. My brother can say I'm full of shit all he wants, but I still enjoy it. I'm not taking back what I say about it, And to me, this is a lot better than a lot of the other video game adaptations, I mean, this feels a hell of a lot better than Mortal Kombat Annihilation. That was a piece of garbage. There's another one. What was it called? Double Dragon with Mark Dacascos. I like Mark Dacascos though, but it didn't hold. Doesn't hold it up for me. To me, I think this is better than Double Dragon. To say a lot better than a lot of the Resident Evil movies. I could say that right now. Definitely a lot better than a lot of the Resident Evil movies. Oh, I mean, this is a hell of a lot better than all of Uwe Ball's movies. If you want to bring up bad video game movies, this is a hell of a lot better than any of Uwe Ball's atrocious movies. His piece of shit movies. In the Name of the King, House of the Dead, Blood Rain, Alone in the Dark. Hell of a lot better than any of his movies. You want to talk about bad video game movies? Those are This is 5 times better than those. Yeah, definitely better than Mortal Kombat Annihilation. That's bad CGI. And it's just they scribble a lot of things in that movie as well. That movie's a piece of shit. Same as a lot of Uwe Boll's movies are pieces of shit. And a lot better than pretty much all the Resident Evil movies. I'm not a fan. Don't like those movies. The only I tolerate is the first movie. It's the only one of that franchise I didn't mind was the first Resident Evil movie. Silent Hill, not really a fan of. Well, of course, I like the Sonic the Hedgehog movies, the recent ones. Yeah, I like those. But yeah, those are just a lot of video game movies, like Double Dragon. I'm not a fan of. I like Tekken. I like the first Mortal Kombat film. I like Tekken from 2009. I like Doom. I like Doom going with the Carl Urban and Dwayne Johnson. I like Doom. Yeah, it's a little flawed though, but overall I like the 2005 film of Doom. But yeah, but just for all the bad ones I mentioned, this is a whole lot better than those, especially Uwe Boll's movies. Do you want to talk about bad video game movies? Watch those movies. Those are so cringe-inducing. But yeah, this is my review of Super Mario Brothers, the movie from 1993. To me, I think this is underrated. Yeah, my brother will get pissed off at me for saying that, though. He will. I guarantee it. But like I said, to me, it worked because of John Leguizamo and Bob Hoskins. You know, I thought they were good as a good Mario and Luigi. And like I said, it was a very creative. It was creative. Yeah, it was not. It's a loose adaptation, not an accurate adaptation. Okay, like I mentioned, it's hard to do like an accurate live action adaptation of the game. So like the whole everything I explained at the beginning of the video. To me, this is what the films nowadays they lack creativity and how the production they put into it, like how they made the world looked. You know, a lot of it was actual practical effects and set pieces, makeup effects, and all that stuff. You know, you just did put time and effort, and not be so freaking lazy, go the cheap way, make it entirely a CGI green screen. And some of the weapons, like I said, the guns like shoot actual fireballs and Mad Max / Blade Runner type of world, you know? I liked it. So yeah, so this is my long ass review of Super Mario Brothers. Jeez. But you know what? To me, it's worth doing a long review of this because I wanted to review this for a long time and why I enjoy it. Why I'm one of the very handful of people that likes this movie. I know a lot of people don't like the movie, but I'm like one of the handful of people that likes the movie. So I know my brother, he despises this. He can say I'm full of shit all he wants, you know, okay? That's what he always does. Like I mentioned, like a lot of movies I mentioned, he says I'm always full of shit anyway. So yeah, he goes and runs his mouth, say what he wants, you know. But anyway, that's my review of Super Mario Brothers from 1993. I enjoy the film. Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo, Dennis Hopper, they did not like this movie, but I think all three of them had fun, did a good job with the movie. That's what made the film work. The production sets, everything I said before about it. Creativity, that's the thing. Creativity. But anyway, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more, and we'll see you next time. Later.